So I went to a favorite place in Raynham, Massachusetts, and found a bunch of very questionable things. If you hope to find an arrowhead and you're going to make a nice video about it, but if you don't find arrowheads, you're still going to make a nice video about it. That's the plan. So I want to go through these things because they're sort of interesting. None of these are going to make it into my collection, but let's have a look. We'll start with the obvious. This is pretty obviously shaped like an arrowhead. This hard slate material, I don't know what you call it. It's actually, you find ungainly looking things, unsightly looking things made out of this stuff. There's not much question that that's what that is. Not of any particular style that I know, but there you have it. I mean, what's interesting is that this is a spot in Raynham. It's about 100 feet by 100 feet, and I've participated in finding at least 4 arrowheads there, my best arrowheads from there, and yet the thing is, this little teeny patch of dirt's throwing out a lot of stuff. I sure wish they could excavate it, because it was plowed once and it's been going back to seed ever since. So let's go through some of these things. I picked this up first of all because it's got a flute on it. Let's see if I can show that with the camera. I doubt I'm even in focus here. But you can see there's a flute. You can also see that it's broken on this side, broken in that way. In the same way that this one is broken, sort of the upper right-hand corner of it's missing. But what's left around the edges is clearly worked quartz, and it's in the shape of a, in the shape of a, it's an arrowhead. So this was a concave-based arrowhead, and this is a better example. We'll look at it in a second, but what's exciting here is the flute. So this is a late paleo arrowhead, what's left of one, and I have put these in the category of Snappit points, basically concave base, transition from paleo to modern, rather wide triangular shape. We've got worked edges all the way around, except that's broken. There's your worked edge for you. Sometimes Snappit points are a little serrated. I don't know. I only have one. So these are of interest, mainly because they're old. Now let's come to this piece of glass. Now, I maintain that there is a logic for there being glass arrowheads, because Native Americans might have had a need for a small knife, and you go, well, why didn't they just go to the store to buy one? And the answer is because, that costs money. Why spend money when you've got a piece of glass you can use? So let's just look at how this was broken. And for people who are, fans of Reddit and that it's just a rock group of hunters, you don't want to be watching this video anyway. You wouldn't want to hear something that's contrary to your belief system. So this has been broken in several ways. I want to just look at it. These breaks were directly snapped perpendicular to the material. These at this end were very, very sharply angled, percussive or perhaps pressure flaked things. And you can see, if you look at the conchoidal fracture of these things, that this one here's got conchoidal marks. What do they call it? I can't remember. Those circular marks. This one's over here is going in opposite directions. So this is struck on that side, was struck on this side twice. Once for this flake and once for this flake. You look really closely at this because you're trying to say, could this be an arrowhead? Nah, yes, no. You think about it, you argue with yourself, you look at the details, and you notice a couple of details that deserve comment. One is, let's start with this. That upper edge there, right along there, that's been worn there, it's been used. We observe that. We also observe there's kind of a scum on the surface here. And if you're a glass expert, you might, as I was seeing this earlier, there's a kind of a rippling inside that glass, which might make it possible to determine how old this piece of glass was, or where did that piece of glass come from, which would either support or deny the idea that this is from the 1600s. Anyway, a little bit about that scum there. It doesn't come off. It's a protein coating on the glass of some sort. And I'm going to say that that's where it was used. This is used against some meaty material, and that's actually dried blood. That's what I will say it is. And so you can make fun of me, and that's fine. A lot of people have better YouTube channels than this one, but I actually have a collection of glass items which I'm sure have been flaked. In other words, these things show signs of napping, and I've just mentioned them because I've got a small collection of them. This one is from Ram Island in Woods Hole. Not too interesting looking. None of them are that beautiful, but you know, they're of interest. This one is pretty obvious flaking on one side of it. This one, it's as clear as day that that's been napped. So you can believe your eyes, or you can believe your preconceptions. You have a choice here. I'm going to believe that it's a subject to discuss, glass arrowheads. I've seen glass arrowheads that are, you know, superb arrowheads. None of these are anything like that. They're just bits of sharpened glass that look like they could have been attached to a stick and then used to cut a skin or something very temporarily. I also have a scraper made out of glass that is thick glass. These edges aren't sharp, and it's been abraded heavily there, and a little bit less heavily over there. So I think glass arrowheads in New England, in places like Raynham and where are these other ones from? Yeah, the coastal areas, they're not as rare as you think. They're not as implausible as you think they should be. They're a reality. So here's this place in, oh, didn't mean to put that away yet. Wait, ouch. Where'd that go? This. So here you have a place in Raynham that's got very late paleo arrowhead fragments, at least a hint of that. It's got obscure bits of who cares what arrowhead made out of obscure materials that, you know, no beauty, no substance. And you got completely historic period things. This was, I believe, this suggests I have arrowheads from, you know, shouldered arrowheads, Narragansett style, Merrimack style, and from late paleo through that period, which I think is mid to late archaic, 10,000 years ago to 4,000 years ago to modern times. A fun place.